Thanks for sticking with us. My next guest has a great way of adding a little humor to all this political chaos these days. He's known as the political cowboy online. He's my brother, Chad Prather. Hey, Chad, how you doing, man?
Good to see you, buddy. Happy Hump Day.
Nice seeing you. Happy Hump Day. Let's get right after it because we only got a few minutes here. SCOTUS, your feelings on the nonsense that they are just trying to tear this amazing judge down, who I think is beyond reproach. You cannot get to her. You can't crack her. She's got an amazing record, eloquent on the stage there, the national stage. Your thoughts?
You know, you can almost read Amy Coney Barrett's mind with some of the facial expressions she makes. She's so smart. I would love to hear what she's really, truly thinking. It's amazing to me. This is a woman who is a fine example of true feminism. She's what a feminist really ought to be, and she is a sign of. And I got to give it to her. I'll tell you, they just, these senators are trying for everything they can to try to get a soundbite and something that the media can latch onto, so they can get their own 10 seconds of media clips. But Mazie Hirono of Hawaii has to be the most worthless politician that's ever existed. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, her berating yesterday was ridiculous. I loved when Texas Senator Corwin, and this obviously not staged because they don't have any contact with her, said, hey, what's on your notes? Because even when Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and those, I remember they had some notes as senators were drilling them, and she holds up that little notepad and it's empty. She don't need notes, folks, because she follows the law, because she's real. Let's move on to the latest Nancy Pelosi rant and rage. I know you saw that interview with Wolf Blitzer yesterday where she came unhinged and went off on him. Your thoughts on that one?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm glad to see that certain journalists are pushing back on these leftist politicians, because if the leftists ever get control and the house of cards ever falls, the journalists are going to be the useful idiots, so the first ones in front of the firing squad. So they better start putting the top back on Pandora's box. Now, Nancy Pelosi, who somewhere is mainlining vodka even as we speak, she can't stand any pushback whatsoever. So I was glad to see that Wolf gave her a little bit and she kind of lost her mind. And the beauty of it is these days they're so unhinged, it doesn't take anything, Dan, to really get them off their game.
She was so condescending, it just disgusted the hell out of me. And for once, Wolf stood up for the American people instead of Jeff Zucker, the CEO of CNN, and listen to what he tells him to do all the time, which is bash Trump. And he went after her. I love that one. Two more real quick. More stuff on the Biden scandal. I'm not going to call it a scandal. The Biden cover-up. Let's call it what it is. The New York Post, of course, showing those emails from what it looks like to be Hunter's laptop. We got the cracked out pictures, but the thing to me is you got the email from the guy from the Board of Burisma saying, thanks for introducing me to Dad. How about that?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? When you see things that are that clear and in black and white. You have Donald Trump, who was blamed for a Ukrainian quid pro quo, and we now know it was all along Joe. And we had an investigation into Trump for Russian collusion, which we now know was all about Hillary. So the hypocrisy knows no bounds. Pretty much anything they're accusing Trump of at this point, we can assume they're the ones who are doing it behind the scenes or historically.
Isn't that what your grandma always told you? When someone is guilty of something, they put it on you. So, and literally, you just said it's so great, Chet. Everything they accuse this president of, they've done or are doing or did or something, and now they got to try and cover it up. Last one here before they wrap us up. Don't know if you saw it. We had James O'Keefe on last night from Project Veritas. You did? Okay, great. How about that psychopath, let's call him that, this psycho from Colorado who said he will do anything, lie, cheat, steal, talking about murdering billionaires? This guy is on a nonprofit organization board, but also on the committee and chair for the Democrat Party in the state of Colorado. Now, he's been let go from his job at CenturyLink because he had a full-time job, but I haven't heard from the other organizations that they're getting rid of him. I mean, if somebody was on a committee with me and said those crazy things, I'd be coming out in front of that real quick. Why won't Dems come out and condemn the radical ones? Because I got to say, and I'm sure you have some friends, not every single Democrat is a crazy left-wing nut job, just like every Republican conservative is not some racist KKK white nationalist. So how about that one, man?
Yeah, you've got to call out your fringe groups, the folks that keep telling us that you got to condemn white supremacy and white nationalism, which
we do.
But you got to call out like that, your Keith Olbermanns of the world calling for us to be expelled and expunged and abolished. It's enough for us to call them out, but they have to start being called out by their own. It's simply unacceptable. So again, back to Wolf. I'm glad he did what he did with Nancy Pelosi. That's a good thing. Yeah, well, when we hear psychos like that on that undercover camera say that they want to murder
billionaires and that they will go to any lengths. That just tells me I'm so thankful I live in a country with the Second Amendment. How about you, brother?
That's right.
I'll come down to Texas. We'll do a little shooting. That's the theme of this party. We had the McCluskeys on earlier, so we were talking about gun rights, obviously. Chad Prather, the political cowboy, they're giving me the hard rap, so we got to go. But, brother, love having you on. We'll see you back real soon.
Thank you, brother.
Yep, take care. Coming up after the break, time to get real. Don't go away.